Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope all's well out there online and in the interwebs. Don Cramer with the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty. We are here with the beginning of the week on our Monday edition of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. Colleen sends her best. She is out with a client project looking for tile. So she's with, again, like I said, with a client on a project. They are looking at a couple of last selections for some tile finishes in a couple of rooms. That's how far we go with our clients on projects. So we make sure that they have the information and have the assistance every step of the way. So, Colleen, good luck out there. We're holding down the digital fort here at Facebook, kind of bringing some of our friends and family that are tuning in and clients to give them the news they can use in real estate. So we've got a couple of short pieces of news here today. Going to kind of keep it short. You know, Don likes to chat a bit. So nonetheless, want to give you some real estate news both nationally and locally that you may have read or may not have read, but at least we picked out some highlights over the past week and want to give them to you. So first off, as many of you know, on the commercial real estate side, last week we had Rudy Romano with our brokerage, and Rudy was online with us, and we were chatting about the commercial real estate market, all the different areas, you know, retail, office, and such, and what was portending in the future. And that was some pretty cool information. And if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, you can take a look down our Facebook thread. Also go over to our YouTube page, Cramer Group Real Estate. We've also got the video uploaded there. And playing off or kind of piggybacking onto the commercial real estate side, it was announced going into the weekend, JCPenney's, longtime retailer, has filed for Chapter 11. So that now brings up three large retailers, JCPenney's, and recently to J. Crew and Neiman Marcus. And so with that in mind, you know, the one of the big changes over the last generation has been, you know, what's going to happen with the malls. You know, here in Las Vegas, we've had, you know, the Meadows Mall. That is a mall I used to remember shopping at. I think JCPenney's, when we first moved here, was one of the first places we went and visited. Why? Because they had furniture. So also, you know, there was Sears that had since closed. The Boulevard Mall over by Maryland Parkway on the east side, that saw a little renaissance for a while, and then now again it's kind of being reimagined more into entertainment space with theaters and other type of event type of things to get people back in. The Galleria still remains a popular place, as well as the Fashion Show Mall, especially when they reopen after COVID. However, nonetheless, JCPenney's, a retail stalwart for, you know, as long as I've been around and for many generations, has recently filed for Chapter 11. So we'll see what's in store if we're going to see any closings of their properties here. However, that is, it's kind of an end of an icon, kind of sad news there. Now, moving on here to Realtor.com put together their forecast for 2020 at the end of the year, and they've recently revised it. And they had their chief economist do a short little video, and they touched on a few things here as to where they see the year going. So Realtor.com is looking at sales. Now, this is a national number, you know, broadly. Sales to be down 15% as a whole year over year. That being said, they're seeing the median home price having a slight gain of 1.1%. And really that has to do with a couple of factors. Outside of COVID-19 and the shutdowns, and the economic impacts, we were seeing already less housing inventory coming on the market the first couple of months. So that was kind of putting a drag as to housing availability. So limited home availability will remain an issue, there's thinking, throughout the year. So that less homes available, while probably still keeping in the demand, even though it's going to be 15% down over the year, will result in that 1.1% increase. Then they also are saying that time on market will continue to grow. Again, because of COVID-19, because of various rules and regulations at the municipal, local, county, state level, and let's see what happens at the national level. Those types of different protocols that have to be in place with regards to showing, because of the availability of funds, all the employment, all the myriad of items are going to place pressure on houses staying on the market a little longer. So again, their time on market is they're expecting it to grow. How much is a bit of is up for discussion. There's some areas that look at seeing let's say a 25% increase. So if you were on the market on average 40 days, you may see that increase in there 10 to 50 days. In our market, we have fairly low days on market numbers for houses that are properly priced and such. So if we may see that going upwards a bit. We've already seen it for now, but that may continue on over the weeks and months ahead. And then lastly, though, they in some signs of some good news, they were looking at what the trends were in mortgage applications. So in the month of April 2020 versus 2019, when we had kind of full lockdown in most states, things of that nature, Nevada was fully shut down, stay-in-place orders. The April 2020 numbers versus 2019 for mortgage applications were down 30%. So that was the pretty big drop. Now, in May 2020 versus 2019, they're showing only down 10%. So we went down 30 for that first full month. Second month, while we're not, we're just starting reopening, but for the most part, we're kind of still closed. We're seeing a rebound there to 10%, and a lot of that has to do with low interest rates. I mean, interest rates are still at their low point. There's projections and discussions that they may continue lower. So due to that, the easing of the credit market sort of tightened up severely in late March, started to recover in April, but there were still signs and effects there. Again, just all that fallout, that 30% drop. So going down from 30% year over year in April to now only down 10% year over year in May. That's hopefully a good sign trend that by June, maybe we'll see some flattening out, or at least maybe some continued improvement going into June. And one other highlight, and this transitions to Las Vegas, is Realtor was showing the warm weather markets showing the most improvement. So that includes Phoenix, Scottsdale, Mesa, that Metroplex, Charlotte on the East Coast, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. Then Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Valley, so Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas. And then lastly, rounding out the top 5, the Inland Empire. So that's Ontario, Riverside, San Bernardino. Again, the warm weather markets were showing most improvement because most of us are in our selling season. These areas here too, our density isn't quite as large as some of the people, sort of like New York, Chicago, LA. So density is becoming a discussion point. Do we want more space? Do we want more home? And then too, like I said, the warmer weather markets, people getting out and about. So those areas, including our humble little burg of Las Vegas, are showing some great signs of improvement. So yay us. And then lastly, the Raiders effect. So this has been talked about for a little while now. I think for the last couple of years, ever since they announced the Raiders are coming, and sort of this next generation of Las Vegas. We have the Golden Knights, we have all these great sports teams, we've got the Lights, we've got the rebirth of the former 51s and Stars, now the Aviators with the beautiful stadium in Summerlin. Like I said, the Las Vegas Lights with soccer, the women, the Aces, our wonderful running Rebels. Well, the Raiders are going to mark, and also those Golden Knights, if I didn't mention them before. Well, the Raiders with the new Allegiant Stadium marks a new iteration for Las Vegas. And there's a lot of talk of that really spiking property values. Now, when we look at that, there are some points of justification for it. When you bring in an NFL team, you bring in a pretty large footprint. A large footprint of players. You've got staff, you've got trainees, trainers, all types of facilities, assistants, and then they've got, and then some of these people, some of the top performing football stars will have, probably their own fitness people, their own nutritionists, things of that nature. So there may be some additional people coming into town, plus the ownership structure. Well, right now what we're seeing is there is a bit of a resurgence in a couple of areas that are in that luxury market, $1 million plus, due to the rate. There is a bit of a Raiders effect. And that area actually looks to be from the Anthem Country Club, maybe even a little more east over to McDonald Highlands, but sort of that area, McDonald Highlands, Anthem, a little bit of Seven Hills, all the way over to Southern Highlands. And for the reasons of the following, the convenience factor at Southern Highlands, Coach Gruden, quarterback Carr, they're building some homes over there. Some of the other player members and staff are looking at Anthem. So the reason, Southern Highlands is sort of set. It's kind of a good equal point between their home of the Allegiant Stadium up by near the Mandalay Bay and such, and then east over to the practice facility over near Inspirada. So that way, you can get to both areas pretty conveniently. Some of the players, like I said, also are opting towards Anthem because they can reach out right down St. Rose Parkway, or even work their way up a little north onto 215 and up and in. And then also still they have a little more convenience, probably because if they are more staff, they'll be at the Raiders main headquarters practice facility. That'll be a little more convenient for them than having to trek all the way over to Allegiant Stadium, which they will do probably only so many times a year. So those are the areas that are seeing a bit of a resurge. So they're the players and the team members and such are loving the opportunity with Southern Highlands and Anthem and McDonald Highlands, because you have guard gated, you have exclusivity, you have beautiful homes and layouts that are built in, a lot of them last 15 years, 20 years, even some, looking at new construction. The other thing too are amenities. A lot of them love to play golf. There's the clubhouse facilities, so they have sort of this encapsulated little home, village onto village type of experience, which is important to a lot of these players. So when we were looking at sort of the Raiders effect, that's where we're seeing it. So if we saw the practice facility maybe been selected more west towards Summerlin, that would have probably moved the geographic point. So as to where players and staff members are calling home. So that's interesting to show. And then one of the big notes about that, just to kind of give you an idea, is so our MLS system, we showed at the time there were 32 existing home sales in over $1 million between Anthem and Southern Highlands this year in the first quarter. So again, January to March 2020, 32 properties between Anthem and Southern Highlands, over $1 million sold. By contrast, there were 17 sales this time last year. So 17 versus 32. That's a pretty good jump. And again, with the Raiders making the move. Well, that's it for the Monday edition of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. Now, tomorrow we're excited. We've got Dave Dendy, pastor and stand-up comedian, here to talk a little bit about faith and also his comedy routine. And then on Wednesday, we've got our weekly update. Then this Thursday, we have Frank Shaw with Three Dog Bakery. And many of you know about Three Dog Bakery in the community. And then on Friday, we wrap up with corporate trainer and all-around fun person and motivator, Ms. Missy Day, to kind of talk about, businesses and how they can work through COVID-19 and how she's working with businesses as they relaunch and wrap up, go through 2020. So if you have any questions about today's conversations, love for you to put those comments below. Love to hear what you think about, the Raider effect. Also, too, with some of the stats we read out from Realtor.com. Again, sad shout out to JCPenney's. We hope the reorganization works and they come out a company that and brand that future generations will remember. All the best to them. However, nonetheless, I'm Don Cramer. Thank you again for joining in with the Monday edition of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. And more now than ever, your real estate experience matters. So give us a call if we can help you with anything with regards to buying, selling, or investing in Las Vegas real estate. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.